Did she poison her husband for money, or did he die from fentanyl he took himself? Today, you're in the jury room, and when that door locks, you're going to decide. Here's what happened. March 4th, 2022, Kouri Richins, father of 3, is found dead in his Utah home. Cause of death? Fentanyl toxicity. His wife and mother of his 3 children, Kouri Richins, tells police he had taken a THC gummy earlier that evening. She says she found him unresponsive in bed. At first glance, it appears to be a tragic overdose, but investigations dig deeper. And February 2022 becomes critical. Prosecutors allege that in February, weeks before his death, her phone searches included, "What is a lethal dose of fentanyl?" And around Valentine's Day 2022, Eric reportedly became violently ill after a dinner. He broke out in hives. He nearly passed out. He later told a friend he believed his wife was trying to poison him. Prosecutors allege that after that incident, she reached out to a housekeeper seeking stronger pills, allegedly requesting the Michael Jackson stuff, fentanyl. They claim the first batch was not strong enough. Then March 4th arrives. He dies of fentanyl toxicity. But that's not all. After his death, investigators allege her phone showed additional searches. How to permanently delete information from an iPhone remotely. Can cops force you to take a lie detector test? Can cops recover deleted messages, iPhone? If someone is poisoned, what does it go down on the death certificate as? Death certificate says pending. Will life insurance still pay? Luxury prisons for the rich in America. The defense calls those searches panic. The prosecution calls them consciousness of guilt. And then there's the money. Over several years, beginning around 2017, multiple life insurance policies totaling nearly $2 million were taken out on Eric. At the same time, his wife was accumulating millions of dollars in debt in a failed real estate business. In January 2022, after the alleged affair began, she began changing the beneficiaries on the $2 million life insurance policies from his business partner to herself. Eric discovered it. He changed it back. Weeks later, she allegedly sought an additional $100,000 life insurance policy. Timing matters. The state's theory is structured. They argue financial pressure, a failed marriage, a new romantic relationship, insurance beneficiary maneuvering in early 2022, pre-death lethal dose searches, alleged fentanyl sourcing, death by fentanyl. They will argue this was not coincidence, this was convergence. Divorce is unpredictable. Life insurance is immediate. And if Eric caught her changing beneficiaries in January, that may have accelerated everything. The Valentine's Day illness becomes an alleged failed attempt. The February lethal dose search becomes research. The alleged request for stronger fentanyl becomes escalation. March 4th becomes execution. Then the post-death searches become concealment. That is the state's structure. The defense asked jurors to slow down. No rush to judgment. Let's examine the facts reasonably. Insurance is not murder. Affairs are not murder. Debt is not murder. They argue the lethal dose search must be examined in context. Phone searches do not equal action. They question the credibility of the alleged supplier. They will argue that fentanyl overdoses are tragically common. They will suggest panic explains the post-death searches. Grief can look strange. Shock can look suspicious. They will remind jurors that there are no witnesses. There's no video of administration. There's no confession. And circumstantial evidence must exclude reasonable doubt. Now we pressure test. If the February lethal dose search is verified and timestamped before the date of death, March 4th, that is not abstract curiosity. That is research into lethality weeks before the fentanyl death. If Eric told a friend he believed she tried to poison him on Valentine's Day, that is not coincidence. If she allegedly sought stronger fentanyl afterward, That suggests escalation. Add this. If Eric was secretly addicted to fentanyl, where is the documented trail? Severe opioid addiction typically leaves evidence. Prescription history, escalation, doctor shopping, pharmacy records, digital attempts to source drugs. Public reporting has not shown any such documentation. For the defense theory to prevail, jurors must believe in the end that he was secretly addicted, that she was helping him obtain fentanyl. She did not administer it. The lethal dose search was unrelated. The Valentine's Day illness was coincidence, and insurance timing also unrelated. The post-death deletion searches were panic. Possible? Yes. But that requires stacking multiple independent explanations in her favor. The prosecution's theory, by contrast, is linear. Research, access, escalation, death, concealment. This is a tight narrative. Turning to the law, to convict her on murder, the state must prove she knowingly administered fentanyl. She intended to cause death. The death was not accidental. Circumstantial evidence can convict, but it must exclude reasonable doubt. Here's my ruling. This is a convergence case. What do we have? Pre-death lethal dose research, alleged fentanyl sourcing, a prior illness consistent with poisoning. Then, insurance maneuvering also in early 2022, followed by death by fentanyl. Post-death searches about deleting evidence and insurance payout time. Individually, each piece can probably be explained. Collectively, however, they become harder to dismiss. The defense theory requires multiple independent coincidences. Also in criminal defense, you have to develop a theory jurors can relate to. Researching what is a fatal dose of fentanyl while having a lover on the side. Wanting out of the marriage while maneuvering life insurance for a big payout upon death. Here, the prosecution's theory requires alignment. Jurors are instructed, use your common sense. In this case, common sense asked what? How often does lethal dose research precede fentanyl death by accident? How often does alleged drug sourcing align so tightly with the eventual cause of death? How often do beneficiary maneuvers occur weeks before fatality? By coincidence? Based on publicly known evidence, the prosecution's theory is internally consistent and compelling, unless the defense dismantles the timestamp evidence or destroys the credibility of the fentanyl sourcing testimony. In this case, a guilty verdict is not just plausible. It is, in my opinion, most likely. This is not a cable television drama. This is life in prison. This is a jury deciding whether convergence equals proof beyond a reasonable doubt. You've heard the fork. You've heard the evidence. Now the question is simple. If you were in that jury room and the door locks, what would your verdict be? This has been Crimes Digest. The news reports, we cross-examine. See you in the next episode.